Is Bitcoin right now repeating an absolutely bonkers structure dating all the way back to December of 2020? And if so, what does it mean for Bitcoin over the next week? And boy, this will surely send shivers down your spine and a rash down some other places as well. And right now, as we squeak, Bitcoin is making an insane move. But guys, this is exactly the levels that we need to watch for before we start popping some champagne and drunk texting some grandmas. Bubbles and foam at the granny retirement home? Count me in. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Ronald Weasley, the red boy from that Magician movie. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to be jumping into with Bitcoin's price. As we talked about in yesterday's video, so far everything is playing out to a T and those downside targets still are very real. But now, this is the critical point that will determine if in fact those slightly longer time frame targets to the downside will come to fruition. And the battle that we're seeing with Bitcoin right now, we're going to show you exactly what's going on and what needs to happen in the very, very short term for this trend to absolutely change. And as well as many of you know, the transition is almost here. We're going to be adding some new content, specifically some alt content and some very other special sweet treats, so you're not going to want to miss that. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and if you always want to stay up to date with these time-sensitive updates, make sure to turn on those post notifications as well. And before we jump into the content, guys, it's always important to remember to take a step back and really just look at where we are. Like my neighbor always used to say, if you hear squealing coming from my basement, take a step back and get off my property. Wow, so guys, if we start here on this hourly chart, this is truly the battle to behold, as Bitcoin now, ever since getting rejected here yesterday, and really setting a short-term, very not super significant bearish cross right here, with the 21 crossing below the 50, we saw Bitcoin drop from about 60,000 all the way down to about 53,000, quite a little bitsy tumble. However, now for the past over 12 hours, Bitcoin was battling to get back above this key moving average after failing the 12 hours prior, and we succeeded. But now the next big test is to break 56,600 US dollars per Bitcoin, which is just a very, very key level. And as well, it is trying to actually get us back above this 50 moving average here, but more importantly, this fib level of about $56,000 even. So if we start getting some closes above 56,600, then boy, this trend could be reversing. I urge massive caution because this is very early on, and in fact, what are the chances we're repeating something more similar to like what we saw in December? So we're going to be getting that in a second here. But also on the 6-hour chart, we do have a big battle facing us right around 57,500, which was our first initial rejection area back here on February 21st. And it took us quite a long time to get back above it. Here, this is the 6-hour chart I'm looking at. It took us quite a long time to get above that. And ultimately, when we did break, 57,500, you bet we actually had a pretty quick move all the way up to our newest all-time high of almost $62,000 per Bitcoin. So at this moment, the big resistance that we were hoping to maybe turn into support, which we didn't, is going to be this level here of about 57,500. We're going to see how Bitcoin can react there. But as you can see on the 6-hour chart as well, you see where we've bounced so far at this 50 moving average on this 6-hour chart. So far, this bullish structure is still intact. And here we go, guys. If we switch to this daily chart, you can see here where we're finding support is right now on the 6-hour chart. We plummeted through some very key moving averages on the 1 and 4 hour, so that leaves us with a 6-hour where so far we're bouncing. But if we're unable to recapture 57,500, then I think it's very imminent that we're going to be dropping down lower to that $51,000 level. So guys, if we get a move up to 57,500 and we subsequently get rejected there, then I think we are going to be visiting that next lower leg. But guys, if we go back to December of 2020, we had something very, very good happening here. We had a very nice bullish structure here and then a decent pullback, but then we set a new higher high. But then almost immediately after setting that higher high, we initiated a dumpage for, for a few weeks there. Actually, for about 2 weeks. And ultimately, though, that ended up breaking into a very, very bullish pattern, shooting us from 20,000 US dollars all the way up to over 40,000 US dollars almost without stopping. Okay, and one of the big things to look for here is that we were trying to hold, we reclaimed this level, and then you see when we failed to hold this horizontal ascending channel line, we dropped below it. Ultimately, we found support on the 21-day moving average, though, and then we regained it, and you can see we held there for quite a long time, almost forming even like a symmetrical triangle. However, it broke down, and then ultimately that played into a longer descending channel here. And again, ultimately also ended up breaking through the 21 yet again. And eventually we found support kind of in the middle of the EMA ribbon here. And again, eventually we found that bullish structure and we blasted up to 24,000. And then ultimately we went up all the way above 40,000. But here, same thing here, guys. Right now we're in the middle of these longer term channels. So unless we're able to reclaim the top of this channel, which at this moment would be over 57,500. So again, lines up with these shorter time frame charts. This daily chart lines up with that. If we're able to claim 57,500 again, that's very good. As I'm recording this video, we're over $1,000 away from that though. And the big question on everybody's minds right now is that if we can't reclaim that, where will we go? And I think that the answer is quite clear. I think it is very likely we'll go back down to that $51,000 to $50,000 level. Ultimately, right around that 21-day moving average as well. And that will be the final test because remember, we just spent multiple weeks below the 21-day moving average, dipping as low as 43,000 US dollars. If we're able to set then a higher low, okay, with this being the original low, and then setting a higher low, that will insanely set us up for a very nice blast off to that $70,000 to $75,000 range over the next week and a half. This is not going to play out in the next 24 hours. This is going to most likely take more time. But the main thing we want to watch for here is to see if we actually form if we continue this downtrend, because ultimately, guys, this is very bullish. The fact that we set a new high here was good. That's exactly what we wanted. We broke above 58,000, went all the way up to almost 62,000. So that's really good. But now we don't want to get tricked out here. We don't want to get faked out and then get caught in another week or 2 week downside move before an ultimate blast up. Because at the end of the day, that is exactly what many of us believe is exactly what's going to happen. Whether or not we initiate more downside in the short term or not, ultimately the trend is up. Ultimately, this is perhaps the most strongest bull market to have ever graced our fingertips. And as well, you guys, we covered BAT in a video not very long ago on this channel. We covered two specific alts that I was very interested in. Back here on this video, Cardano target hit in less than 24 hours and two other top altcoins ready to follow. This was 2 weeks ago, right here, this video. And actually, if we click on this video and we go over to you can see here around 9 minutes in, BAT USD, we were talking about this bullish structure here. Take a look at BAT today. In the last 24 hours, look at this, almost 50% up. Absolutely insane, just like we talked about, actually setting a new all-time high. Guys, for everybody in BAT, as we talked about multiple weeks ago back in that video, wow, I'm very bullish on BAT. That's why I covered it 2 weeks ago. Very bullish altcoin. And look at that blast off. Absolutely insane. This was the previous all-time high. And as well, if we go to ADA, ADA's actually up today for a different reason because it has a Coinbase Pro listing. Very, very bullish. Coinbase pumps are the real deal. It's very seldom that a Coinbase pump does not provide, or a Coinbase listing does not provide an absolutely massive eruption. And I mean, this isn't the biggest eruption, but yeah, I mean, that is some bullish price action. Getting above the 21-day moving average for the first time in quite a while here. And then if we switch over, guys, the entire altcoin market cap, potentially forming some sort of ascending triangle here, a bullish pattern. We have these lows, but again, we could see one more dip down to these lower levels after we're coming into this resistance right around this 700, right underneath this $700 billion market cap for the entire altcoin space. Very, very big. We have the DXY still kind of teeter-tottering, not super interesting there. And as well, we have Ethereum just coiling, just waiting here in the middle of a move, still trying to find its legs here because, again, this breakout, in my opinion, is still on the way. This is the 6-hour chart. We're still in the middle of this Ethereum breakout. But again, a lot has been dependent on Bitcoin here. But yeah, ultimately looks very good. And as well, we talked about PRQ just a few days ago. And as we said, we're coming back up nicely here with this move. Again, PRQ is a coin that I'm looking to see actually shatter $2 in the very short term. Okay, very similar to like these other moves we've had in the past. PRQ is also insanely small. It has 130, under $150 million market cap. So much potential. We're talking about some of these top coins like ADA and BAT, even though BAT's not, BAT only has, I believe, like a $1 billion market cap or so. ADA's, over 30 billion. But we're talking about PRQ, which has a less than $150 million market cap. so much room. But again, Bitcoin getting that little bounce here. As you can see, as we start off the video, it was a green candle here, but now you see we're getting a little pushback on this moving average. So we 100% have to wait and see, because again, if we get rejected right here at about 57.5 and we cannot get back above some of these levels, specifically these levels here, get back above these levels here, then it is likely that we could actually plummet lower. And just cement some support. So ultimately, it would still be bullish in the long term. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. If you're interested in trading, make sure to take advantage of our Bybit and Femex deposit bonuses below. Over $200 on Femex and $200 on Bybit using the links below after you make that deposit there for trading. And without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.